Today we're going to be talking about OnlyFans. OnlyFans is it's the new pornography that is just snuck into our culture. But I mean, this is something that everyone's familiar with. Everyone is like, if you're not up to speed on this, which this can get really to the heart of the issue. You know, every man faces this struggle. You know, we have sexual urges and we want to find a way to satisfy them, and and I think what has changed lately, which has been a good thing, that a lot of men are coming to the table and saying this isn't the best thing for us. And a lot of guys are trying to get away from pornography, trying to get away from just the way to just satisfy yourself for, that is ultimately going to be short-lived and make you feel terrible. I mean, this is something, and now when we get into OnlyFans, which the reason I'm bringing this up is because her name is Sophie Rain, and I guess she's a very prominent figure on OnlyFans. But yesterday she posted a video and said that she reached $100 million in 2 years by doing OnlyFans. And this is her. Let's take a look at this.
All right, this is the last video.
It's her on her private jet.
I'm not lying about
She's
my
showing her
income,
bank
I'm gonna show you
account
guys right here, right now.
or her account
As you
on
can see, I'm
OnlyFans.
on Safari. I had my little shopping up, but I'm on the OnlyFans site, and I'm gonna hit like that.
When I first saw this, I really felt uncomfortable. And I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm goody two shoes. I've never done any, like, saw pornography or anything like that. But it's something that I've really tried to like stay away from OnlyFans. I've tried not even to go down that road. So when I saw this video pop up on my in my X or whatever, Twitter, that I was like, I felt uncomfortable even seeing this, because now can I say I've never been to OnlyFans because I see her go into her account? What is it like? I don't want to feel like I have to keep up this charade. You know, we all screw up fundamentally. This is from the beginning of time. Men have had this. Men have where women are enticing, or anything that makes you whatever sexually aroused or whatever, that it's enticing. And men, I think, struggle with this differently. You can't talk about this in the same way with men and women. There's a difference. But her bringing this up and talking about
You can see
100 million
that I'm on the
in
statistics
2
page
years.
right here. Okay, now this is the last.
This is certainly a dilemma for women. This is certainly a dilemma for women because I think guys, they're very logical, but they want to satisfy urges. They want to take care of themselves. They feel something, and it's hard to get out of that mode. Once you get something on your mind, you can't get it off. You can't stop. But women like go more around the security market. They're not really, I don't think they're like, oh, I got to satisfy these urges or whatever. I think women are more wired. They want security. They want to feel like they're taken care of. And now with this all started, it all begins with feminism, and women just, they don't need men. They can take care of themselves. So this is where we go. It's no longer just doing like a porno or something like that. It's something that looks like it's very subtle. It's not in your face. Doesn't say pornography, but we know what it is. It's just something that slid under the radar. This is just talking about real. I don't want to be like feeling like I'm doing something right or anything like that. I'm the most terrible person to even say that. Like that I'm doing something over. I know what guys go through because I'm a guy. I know what I feel, and I know what I've struggled with. So it's being thrown down our throats, that it's just being normalized. Everybody's aware of this, and but if we take it to the women's route, this is certainly appealing, and you can see that her bringing this up, showing $100 million in 2 years. Most quarterbacks in the NFL don't make that. I don't know if many make that. A very small few would make that. But to say that now women can make that by selling themselves, it's the situation that we're in as America, and this is like, America is the hub, the where all the porn goes to. Other countries, they just make their money off of us. They're sending us, and we're just drowning in it. We're just guzzling it down because it's something that we're familiar with. It's something that because when you don't feel good if you look at something, if you look at pornography and then oh, I'm gonna feel great tomorrow, or I'm gonna feel great after I have this release or whatever, or you're gonna immediately feel guilty and know you did something wrong. You're gonna feel terrible. And that, I've thought about talking about this before and bringing this up, and regarding just masturbation in itself. And I've struggled with this, and it might not be the but any guy out there would understand that it's a struggle. It's obviously a struggle because you don't really necessarily want to go down that route, but you always end up down that route. And I've really struggled because I'm a person that I agree with the Word of God. I believe in the Word of God, but the Bible doesn't necessarily bring it up and talk about it that much. It just talks about sexual immorality. And I've even had where a long time ago when I was a kid and just talking with people that are in the church. I don't want to kind of talk about it. Just people that have positions in the church, and younger guys bringing up and asking, well, is masturbation, is it a sin? Is it wrong? I've had an epiphany or a realization that, and you hear from both sides. I've heard very theologically minded men talk about and say and describe it's not a sin in itself. It's lusting over someone is a sin. Jesus points that out. But in itself, they say it's not a sin to masturbate. But then some would argue it's definitely a sin. It's definitely a sin. And the Bible I don't see any verse in there that talks about that. But I would say, to me, the way that I've come to it, I don't think that it is inherently a sin like by itself. That's where I'm at right now. But I also think that it is damaging to a man. It is damaging to a man, and it hurts a man. And in that sense, it is ruining them and in hurting them, so that it almost becomes a sin because you're hurting your body. You're polluting your body. You're eating a cheeseburger, a double quarter pounder every day, every meal. You're hurting yourself. And in the long run, we understand that guys, just like you release and let go of your testosterone, you let go of your manhood in that sense, and for a useless purpose, not the way that God intended. And this goes from both angles. We obviously know that women are doing this. It's not a good thing. It's not a good look. A girl that falls into OnlyFans hasn't chosen the best route. Whether she has to wear an apron and be baking pie in the kitchen and for a man or whatever, it's not like you have to be one or the other. But I definitely think we understand that going the OnlyFans route or doing pornography as a woman, it's definitely going to hurt you. And it's definitely not a good look. It's not a good way to go. And I just think of guys like, you raise a daughter, and it used to be if she ends up on a stripper's pole, that you really failed as a father. I think now if your daughter ends up on OnlyFans, which that is a very, I guess, picturesque moment of, man, I should have done things differently. I should have raised my children differently. And that's not to say that I'm immune to this, or anybody's immune to this. Anybody that's in the church is immune to this. Anybody can go down this route because we are all just covered and just tempted every day by sin. And so I guess just bring it up because I think it's just cliche. If your daughter ends up on a stripper's pole, you kind of screwed up. And it feels like if your daughter ends up on OnlyFans, you kind of screwed up. But we are all screw ups. And if you don't think you're a screw up, you're about to screw up. This is real life. This is what, but most people don't want to talk about this. OnlyFans is just something that people kind of make a joke of. But we all understand that it's not the best way. It's not the ideal way. But America is the vacuum and the suction cup of the rest of the world of pollution. Pollution just comes to America because we are a depraved nation in a lot of ways. And I think that because we were founded as a Christian nation, that Satan has made it his game and his aim to destroy us. He wants to destroy us. You want to make the most the ones that are professing the name of Christ look the most awful, and that's what has happened with our nation, with our world, and we're drowning in this pornography. We obviously all know what's wrong, and if you don't, because I think I guess there is the mindset, because before you become a Christian, as opposed to when you are a Christian, things that bother you and things that you realize that aren't ideal. Because I guess before I became a Christian, this was not on my mind at all. I just thought it was something you did. And I was almost relieved. I was pretty much relieved, to be honest with you, whenever I first became a Christian and I told my friends about this. And I brought up about masturbation, and I asked them legitimately, I said, is it a sin? And I remember one of my friends was like, because he was like, well, do you want to be kind of doing whatever all the different innuendos or ways of saying it, masturbating, jacking off, would you want to be doing that when Jesus returns? And that was kind of like, well, no, obviously not. I don't want to be doing that. But I was almost, whenever I told them that, and I shared with that, when they said that it is kind of a thing to stay away from, to get away from, don't go down that route. It's I felt relieved, because like I thought that I needed to do that. As a man, I have to do that. Otherwise, it's going to stop working. Whatever it is, like the equipment that men has, it's going to stop working if we don't keep doing it or whatever. Whereas I think it really what masturbation does, it makes you become like, what's that word? I'm blanking. Is it like impotent or erectile dysfunction? It leads you down that way. And any guy that does that, I think it's because you're just constantly, you're removing all the sensation of it, whatever, and you're just trying, you're overloading of that, and then it loses, and it kind of, that's what leads to erectile dysfunction. That's a component of it. And I'm not just some stupid guy saying that. I've heard really smart guys saying that. I've heard really smart people talk about this. This isn't something everybody brings up, but I'm not normally going to talk about OnlyFans, but with Sophie Rain and saying that and flaunting that she made $100 million, this is a real issue that women are facing. Our young daughters are going to be facing of, how am I going to take care of myself? If I don't have a man, and I don't want to have a man supporting me and taking care of me, I got to take care of myself. It's not the funnest thing to have a job where, and then if I can take this really easy way of just flaunting my goods and trying to make money that way, and I can make $100 million in 2 years. Are you kidding me? That's a very bleak, strong temptation that women are in, but it's because evil men have put us in this position. And I mean, I think we all have an evil nature in us, but I think a lot of people just don't have the power to exert it. So it comes from both ends. Guys have the urge, the temptation to fall into this pornography, fall into this OnlyFans, go down that route. And I could say this, and I might do the same thing, tomorrow. We don't know what the next day is going to bring. And it's a struggle. It's a daily struggle. It's not like I've arrived. Jesus is my Lord. I will never succumb to temptation ever again. I'm good to go. No, I don't think it's that at all. And I pretty much know it's not that. So I let me know what you think. If you're on the same page as me, same wavelength, or if any critique you could give me about this. We all know it's out there. We all know the temptation that Satan wants to put in front of us. Men and women, both of us are on different wavelengths, but we're all facing different struggles of our own. All right, we'll leave it at that. Follow me on X and Instagram. Smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the show as well as just this specific topic. All right, have a great day.
I could see the cracks form in the paint, growing like a fire. What do I say? Can you see them?